Okay, and we are live. Before I begin, I'm just gonna tweet this out real quick. Let people know. Let the people know that we're live. Let's see. Just probably retweet the thing I had before. Unretweet this and then re-retweet it. Retweet with comment. We me. Soon it'll be we because there'll be more people here. We're not live. Cool. Welcome to Rahat Codes, episode 9. It's hard to believe there's like 9 episodes already. Now, well, a couple people are requesting the link because they don't want to go on my Twitter. Let me give a couple people the link so they can join. So they didn't do a stream last couple weeks. I was on vacation in California with my wife, and I have to say I need to plug something real quick. While we were there, if you're ever in LA, first of all, you need to go to this place called Primo's Donuts. They have the best donuts like ever. They have this like buttermilk bar thing, and just like eat it, and it's the best thing ever. Absolutely loved it, and I wish we bought more. We only bought two, one for me, one for her, and I should have bought like three for myself because it was so good. We thought about buying more, it was closed, and then we had to leave. And it was our last day in LA too. I was like, damn. Cool. Now, what are we doing today? Today we're going to build a podcast website. I'm not going to build the whole thing today. Today's just going to be kind of getting everything set up, doing things with Gatsby. I'm not going to do any styling, but I think I should have a good portion of this done today on the stream. So, what's Gatsby? Gatsby is a framework based on React. So that's what you see on the screen right now. This is the main Gatsby JS docs. They have like a really good tutorial on how to get set up, how to get started. This is actually like how I learned React and how I like learned React and some like more modern web development stuff. And highly recommend it. I'm actually working on a talk surrounded about like how I kind of used abstractions like Gatsby to really understand um, web development just a little bit more. And I think someone joined the chat. Who joined? I don't know. Okay. If you joined the chat, you can say hi. So let's see. So definitely, if you've never had any experience with Gatsby, check this out. Um, go through the tutorial. Their docs are great. Like they're actually good. And we're going to be kind of covering a couple of things on stock, but I'm mainly going to be kind of like going and creating stuff. So, what am I making? I'm making the landing page for my website. So, this is what it's going to look like at the end. This is just an XD um, design that I had a designer make for me. Um, it looks something similar to this. Since I'm the key stakeholder, as well as a friend of mine, Hospable, who is going to be my co-host. Well, we may have some liberties in changing a few things, but it'll look something like this. I'm not going to do any of the styling. I'm just going to get like the basic functionality working with a couple of, rather than podcast episodes, just like a couple of songs. So this is also a very roundabout way of me promoting my music. So there's that. So that the styling will probably do next week as well as the week after, because I have to mentally prepare myself to do CSS live. Um, yeah. So for now, we're just gonna get a couple pages working and getting the music player working without any styling. Cool. So one thing I'm going to show that's what did I do? Okay. So one thing I'm going to show with Gatsby that's really great. They have starters. So let's look at Gatsby starters. Hi, Hasiba. Thank you for joining. All right. So Gatsby starters are really good. Um, they kind of give you a starting point just to um, get up and running. We're going to be using their default starter. If you want like a really really bare bones one, they have like a Hello World starter where it just like gets Gatsby set up for you and everything. I'm going to use the default starter. It's a little bit easier to work with, and just for the purposes of the stream and for making my life easier in creating the website, this is what I'm going to use. I have the Gatsby CLI already installed, but this is basically what you would run to make sure this works or gets copied locally. So I'm going to copy this and we're going to start. Gatsby new default. I think. Actually, I think I can just like Gatsby new and then the name. I think I can just do Gatsby new and then the name of my project. And yeah, cool. Yeah, it's automatically getting from the Gatsby starter. So the Gatsby CLI will just automatically copy the starter, the default starter. So you don't need to do that big thing. And it should copy everything into a new folder called Tech for Humans. We are, by the way, still looking for people to interview on Tech for Humans. Tech for Humans is basically going to be a podcast where we talk with people who are doing really like good things with technology, either helping out marginalized people, tech related to climate change and helping out with that, like or anything that's making like a positive impact on humanity in general. That's what the podcast is about. So if you are working on something that's similar to that, or you know somebody, please let me know. Uh, we have a couple of people confirmed for some episodes, but we want to make sure we have probably like a full season before we start releasing. So definitely, please let me know if you know anybody. This is taking a little bit. Cool. Hmm. Come on, come on. Let's go. Cool. It's doing it. It's doing its thing. Why is it taking forever? All right. Oh, that wasn't it. Okay. So out of the box, Gatsby does a lot of things for you. Hey Sam, what's up? So if you've ever used like a Create React app, this is very similar. Open this up in VS Code. Let me move this into its own little screen. Okay, cool. So out of the box, kind of similar to a Create React app, Gatsby does a lot of things for you. You get hot reloading, you get um, a lot of like optimization that's just done right out of the box. You don't have to worry about it. And yeah, cool. So how do we run this thing? Let's see what it looks like for right now. You can do npm start, yarn start, whatever. Um, they have like a script where you can say Gatsby develop, and it should run a development version of your site. I don't know why it's so slow today. Okay, cool. It's creating that development version. generating some image thumbnails, running queries. So the queries that it's running are some GraphQL queries. We're going to cover a little bit of that. Awesome. So you're going to get two localhost URLs, one for localhost 8000, which is where your actual thing will be running. And of course, this thing wants to open in a different window. Let me move this over here. So yeah, this is what I'm running locally. This is the default Gatsby starter. Go to page 2. This is high from the second page. Go back to home page. You also get this GraphQL endpoint. Once again, it opened into a different window. Okay. So this is called Graphical. It is a GraphQL editor. And what we're going to do here, what's going on? Oh, it is. This is very true. Okay, let me fix that up real quick. Okay, so looks like the bottom of my is that better? Looks like I had covered the bottom of my editor. Okay. Cool. Well, we haven't started anything important yet, so shouldn't matter too much. So GraphQL is a query language. It's something that Gatsby sort of built on, lets you query different sources of data. Eventually, this is going to be querying a data source where that's hosting all of our podcasts. While I'm developing, it's just going to query like a local JSON file where I'm going to be adding everything for my what am I adding in there? I'm adding just like some music in there, just to make sure like the actual functionality of the website works. So let's get started. So Gatsby itself is just React. If you've ever used React, a lot of the things we're going to do is really, really similar. And there's a few things in here. We're probably not going to touch Gatsby browser. We'll talk about that another day. We're going to be in here quite a lot, Gatsby Config. So Gatsby has a lot of what are called plugins. You can use different plugins to help you source different data into the graphical editor. And so I'm going to be installing a couple plugins, showing you how to find like the best plugins for your specific needs, and showing you how a couple of these already installed ones work as well. So let's go ahead and go into source. So the file structure here is pretty nice. You have your components, so it's a bunch of pre-made components. It also has some images, the little Gatsby images that were out front. We'll keep them in there for now, I guess. And a couple pages already made for you. So this is one thing that's really cool. Routing is pretty much done for you automatically. So if you go into this pages folder and you, let's say I create a new file, we'll call this JS. Right. We're gonna import React from React. And we're just gonna make this a function test functional component, and it's just gonna return, well, that it's just gonna return a div that says hello world. And return, oh, what am I doing? Export default tests. If I head over to over here and do /test, have that hello world component that I just made. Um, that's the cool thing about Gatsby. If you put anything inside of this pages folder, it automatically becomes a page on your website. Um, I think this is using like Reach Router under the hood. It's also something I'm kind of working into my talk. But you don't have to worry about routing. It's all done for you. Gatsby takes care of like a lot of things for you. This is one of them. Cool. So let's go back to our regular page. That's our next page. Let's take out a bunch of stuff that we don't need for now. I'll keep the SEO. We can take out all this stuff. This link component is really useful. So what that link component does is instead of using like a regular a tag or href link, you use this link and you'll notice it says link to page 2, go to page 2. That's over here. Go to page 2. Gives you like a nice smoother um, transition between your pages, so you're not like reloading your entire app every single time. You just transition to the other page or back, yada yada. To see exactly why that's good, um, let's see, page dash 2. This is a different link to the same page. What happened? Oh, let me. I deleted layout, so I need to delete it here. I want layout. No. I had to put all of that inside of a div. I just put inside of a fragment thing. Fine. Image is not defined. What did I? Oh. Okay. Okay. Cool. So we got rid of some stuff. Welcome to page 2. Go to the home page. Go to page 2. Ooh, why is it? Let's go to the home page. So if I click go to page 2, it was a nice smooth little transition into the next page. If I use that different link, you'll see it kind of reloads the page and goes to page 2. So that's like an outside kind of link. And like if you were linking to something outside of your web app, then you would use an href. Link is really for internal links within your app, just to have that smooth, like not reloading the entire page kind of transition when you're linking to other pages. So, okay, what would you? Hey, Juice, what's up? All right. Well, so Hospital asks, what would you say would be a good reason to use React instead of Gatsby? So Gatsby is React. It's everything I'm doing here is basically React. You can do the same thing in React itself. Um, and what I what I would say is like Gatsby just kind of takes care of a lot of things that you later don't have to worry about. So if you're like this routing stuff, I would, if I were to just use a like create React app and um, wanted to do some routing, I'd have to install like React router or Reach router or something like that, and like actually physically code a bunch of things to make all the routing work. So that's what I was displaying before with the pages. Um, yeah. So Juice said Gatsby can replace Create React App as your starter. So rather than using the Create React App starter and having to like add a whole bunch of other things, Gatsby just kind of like gives you a bunch of more things to start with. A lot of like optimization as well. Cool. So great. That's pretty much like a small mini lesson using link versus like the Ahref. So use link for all your internal links. Cool. All right. So we don't need all these pages. We'll keep the 404 page. We'll get rid of page 2. That's not needed. We'll get rid of test. Don't need that. We'll just keep an index page for now, and we won't worry about any other pages. So the data that I'm going to use for now, let me see how I did this before. Okay, cool. So in the root folder, I'm going to create a folder called data. No. So this is temporary. When I actually have podcast episodes, it's going to be, I'm going to remove this and actually source the data from wherever we host our podcast episodes. So for now, I'm going to put music.json since we're sourcing from some music. And cool. And let's just create a JSON object. What music do I put in here? What am I putting in here? So like I mentioned before, there's also like a really roundabout way of me promoting my music. Why is Siri? Okay. I don't know why Siri started. Cool. So we're just going to put a title. One of them is called, what is one of them called? Resurrection. Never spell this word right. How do I spell this? Did I do it? Did I spell it right? I think I did. Okay. And file. Add that in a second. Let me put all of that inside of an array. Okay. Hey. I don't like how this looks. Let me do this again real quick. Okay. Title. And how do I spell this again? File. And we'll leave file blank for just a second. What did I do wrong? I didn't put this quote. Okay, cool. And we're going to put one more song. Oh, Juice, you're working on your talk? What's your talk on again? Resurrection. And the other one's called Rage. And another file. Cool. In this data file, I'm just going to make another folder for music. And put the actual songs in there. Just going to put 2 songs in there for now. Where did the other one go? I thought it was in here. Okay. All right, cool. So before we do this, there's a couple things we need to install. A couple plugins. So I'm gonna show you how to look up plugins. You can go into Gadget, and they have a ton of different plugins you can use. There's 2 I'm gonna install for now. What are they called? I need I have it in here somewhere. Okay, so I need Gatsby transformer JSON. Basically, this lets like our GraphQL read the JSON file that we're making. So that's one. So we could just copy this. That's what we need to install. We'll let that install. And in here, it shows you how to use it. So you put this inside of your plugins array, Gatsby transfer. You can pretty much just copy and paste this in there. We also need Gatsby source file system. Do I have that in there? Well, let's copy this over. Yeah, I need this whole thing right here. So that all goes in your Gatsby config. Oh, I already have Gatsby file system. So all I need is this part. That's the nice thing about using the starter. Things are already done for you. We don't need this. What we actually need is a path to our data. Not using any of these images, so it doesn't matter. Which is what I do /data. Cool. This lets GraphQL look at like all of the data that's inside of that data file. So that's great. Now, what do I want to do in here? Let's see. So the file itself should be in the same directory. So I'm doing / music. And I'm just going to rename these so that it's easier to reference. I'm going to be smart this time and just not write resurrection again. Okay, cool. /music / resurrection / music / page. I need the .mp3. I'm going to try to deploy this on Netlify. I don't know how that's going to go, but we'll see. With these like two fairly big MP3s in there. Let's see. Okay, cool. So let's make sure that worked. Need to restart my Gatsby development. I did not spell development correctly. Gatsby develop. Okay. Now, if that worked, we're going to go into graphical and check if that worked. I should be able to find that JSON file with all that data in a GraphQL query. Let's see. Come on. Okay. Cool. Let's refresh this. Music JSON is here. All right. What do we want? We'll just get the title and the file. I think we need the absolute path. I don't know. Maybe we don't need the absolute path. I think we need. Crap. Because I don't need all this stuff in there. Can I just get the file path? Let's see. Hmm. Why is child image sharp coming up? It's not even a. It's an MP3 file. It's weird. So child image sharp is like this really cool thing for dealing with images. Um, I don't know why it's coming up for an MP3 file. So I have everything in there. I have my title. I have my path, but there's a lot of extra stuff in this path. I wonder, how do I actually just get the actual path? Is it name? Okay, name is just the name. Um, hmm. Okay, let's try absolute path and just see what happens. Um, we'll go from there. Why isn't there just a regular path? Hmm. Oh, relative path. That might be what I need. Yeah, there we go. That's what I needed. Okay. I don't know. Why can't they just name it path? Whatever. Okay. Um, cool. So we know that we'll rename this to music query. We know that if we run this music query, I'm going to get back this data that has a title and a relative path. Why am I only getting one? I need like an all music query. Here it is, all music JSON. So Gatsby has this like nice explorer that helps you look for different queries that you can write. So you don't always have to like write your own queries. You can kind of just click this explorer and it'll like write the query for you. So we'll go to all music JSON, which should return all of our music. I think edges, node, there we go. Title and relative path. Awesome. Now we get a JSON object with all of our um, music. So how do we use that on the front end? Let's find out. We'll just do, I think we can just do this in the index page for now. I think it's called a use. What's it called again? So they have this hook. It's not use query, that's Apollo. Hmm. Actually, bookons query. All right, let's look into the docs since they're here. Query options. I think this is it. Running queries, creating and modifying pages. All right, here's what we can do. Here, querying data and components using the use static query hook. That's what we needed. Wonderful. Yes, this is it. So this is how it outlined. So there's a couple things we need to do. We need to install some stuff. That's what we do when we use JavaScript. We install a lot of stuff. Oh, no, we don't need to install stuff because it's already in Gatsby. Nice. So copy this over. We already have stuff coming from Gatsby, so let's import out this. Now I can use this use static query in GraphQL. How does that help me? Well, we can get our data this way. So where should I add it? Let's put all this in brackets. Let's return that. Let's say const data equals use static query. And then GraphQL. This basically converts like your GraphQL string into like the GraphQL AST. And we're just going to put in our query. We can just copy that over from our graphical. You're going to fix that. Why didn't Prettier fix that? I don't know why Prettier didn't fix that, but I'll take a look at that later. Cool. So let's console log this data to make sure that worked. Get over regular, not 3,000, on 3,000. 20,000. Okay. So if that worked, then in our console, we should see some data. Hey, there's an object. Hey, all music JSON edges. And yeah, we've got resurrection. We've got the relative path. We have access to our data from our front end. And I think there's a pretty painless way of doing it. Much prefer using GraphQL than using some random REST API and fetching all that data. Cool. So now we know we have our data. Let's actually use it. So the data is kind of nested in a couple things. Edges and I think node. So let's do data.edges.node, see what that looks like. Data.edges.node. What do you look like? Huh? All right, let's just do data.edges. Why didn't you refresh? Okay. What's going on? All right. Data. Okay. Data is all music JSON, right? Data.allmusicJSON. .edges.node. That's where it is, right? Oh. Okay, let's just do edges. There we go. Okay, each of those are nodes. Okay, cool. Okay, awesome. So now we have these two arrays with our data in it inside of a thing called node. What's a nicer way of like, let me see, grabbing all that data out? Let's see. think I have, how did I do this before? I have like a thing I can reference for this from one of my, I think I did this in my portfolio. Da, 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 da. Project listing index. Okay, cool. So here's one way we could do this. Might not be the most elegant way, but it should work for now. So let's not worry about any of this stuff. We can do music data equals data dot all music array, all music JSON dot edges, and we're gonna map over that. So music data map. For now, I just want to return like so each of those things have like a node inside of it. So node, we're just gonna say track. It's like a track of music. And say the const title equals, this is like a not very elegant way of doing this. I'll refactor this later. Oh, I have to change my password. Okay, I'll do that later. So track dot title. That's how I named it, right? Yeah, track dot title and track dot file. And file equals track dot file. And let's just return some stuff. Let's return just return an H1 for now with the title. It's worked out. Hold on. Why didn't that work? What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? I did something wrong. Not sure what. Oh. This has got to be this way. Because we're using a variable. So we gotta let React know we're coming out of HTML and going back into JavaScript. Cool. So if that worked, I should get 2 H1s with the titles of my, hey, it worked, Rage and Resurrection. So we now have access to the data from the front end. And yeah, the curlies are the death of me. So now we should be able to get the file. So normally I would make another component for the actual music player, but because there's no reason to write clean code the first time on a stream, it's okay. I'll refactor it later. Let's see. Now we want, I think it's the audio, HTML audio tag is what I can use. Let's see. HTML. Let me do this here so everyone can see. HTML audio tag. Does that work again? Okay, I can do audio controls and the source. Okay. I think so that controls thing I think just gives you like the play button and all that. Audio. Oh, nice. Okay. Source should just equal what are we doing? The file. Let's see. What's wrong? Gatsby doesn't know how to parse something. Oh, I'm using more than one JSX element. They have to be wrapped. Okay. Oh, we did not get an audio file. Console logo file. I don't want to do. I didn't want that. Okay. You know why? Because it's called relative path. That's why it didn't work. I did not name it file. I named it track.relative path. Always make sure that whenever, you do this, that you use the thing you actually named it. Why? That's, definitely in there. Why are you undefined? Track.relative path. I mean, track.title worked. I see title in there. Wait, title's not even in there. Oh. Right. So the actual relative path thing, I think, is like inside of another object. So this was track. Or, no, track.relative path. Let me refresh this completely. I think I'm just looking at the wrong thing. Okay, something's wrong. What's wrong? So when I had it before, track.file, something came up. What was that? Okay, when I do, okay. So it's file, I think it's file.relative path. Yeah. That's what it was. Debugging. Okay. All right, I see the thing. It's there. Why aren't you working? I wonder if it's like not a string anymore. I don't know why. Okay. They're there. I see them. Why isn't the audio file working? What am I missing from the audio? Oh, you know, I need to, I think, give it the control. Add this controls thing in there. I think I definitely talked about that too. Yeah. I definitely talked about that in the beginning. Okay. So does this work? No, it does not work. Okay. Why doesn't it work? We're making progress though. We have a non-working thing in here. Okay. Audio source, controls. Does controls not have to equal anything? Does this work? This works. Why does that not work? So we have a music player. We have some MP3s. The path is there. It's the correct path. But it's not working. Why? Hold on. The relative path from here. Okay, I know where I messed up. So here's what I messed up on. So it's saying go to music/rage.mp3. What I think is the issue. There's no music.rage.mp3 in this, folder. It's got to read that specific thing. So I don't actually need the relative path. Maybe I need the absolute path. Let me try it with the absolute path. Let's see what happens. So I need to change the query from relative path to absolute. Oy. Okay. Just copy and paste it because I suck at typing today, usually. The absolute path. That means I have to change this from relative path to absolute path. Also won't work. Okay, so now it's getting the actual path. And it's still not working. Why? Hey, Will, what's up? Let's see. Okay. So where are we at right now? We have our music actually showing. We have music players, and the music players do not work. We do not know why. The source is correct. I thought because I was using the relative path, it wasn't working. It may be. I wonder. I'm about to just like put a path, like just hard code the path in. Let me hard code the path in and see what happens. Slash. That takes us out of pages. Another dot slash. That takes us out of source. Now we can go into data. And data, music, mp3. See if that works. Oh, I thought something happened. No, I think it just refreshed. um, why? I don't get it. It's like getting disabled automatically. Um, let's look at the W3 schools version. Do I need this type? Type equals audio. Let's try that. Maybe that's it. Wait, when you do that, what even happens? I open like 5 things. Okay. So I'm gonna take out this controls thing. Don't really need controls. And put in pipe. See what happens to that. No. Now we just don't have the thing anymore. Let's put controls. Okay. So when I put controls, I get the actual player. It doesn't work. Why? Why doesn't it work? It definitely is supposed to be working in Chrome. Like it should. I'm only using MP3, so it doesn't even matter. Why are you doing this? Like, what's up? Why is this so weird? Hold on a sec. No. Actually, okay. Let me take this type thing out. I don't think I actually need this. It should work. But wonder, how does that look again? Okay, so slash. No. Okay. Let's try hard coding it again. Dot slash dot slash you know what? We're gonna copy path. Let's see if it's like a problem with I don't know the way the query is or what. No, it's not. Okay, Hospital came through with a Stack Overflow. Let's see what this says. Okay, that's what I did. Where's the answer that has a check next to it? This one. Okay. MP3 files need to be imported using import in order to be able to play it within its environment. Oh, that sucks. It's like The whole point was to use the GraphQL query to do it, but you know, okay. Um, okay, that's fine. Let's try importing it. What rate from dot dot slash dot dot slash data slash music and slash rage.mp3. Okay, let's just drop this in here. So file. Did that change anything? Ooh, clickable now. Okay, that is okay. It works. I don't know why the music isn't working, but this is the correct time of the MP3, so it works. So I guess we in React you have to import the MP3. Learn something new today. Thank you, Hospital. It kind of defeats the purpose of using that GraphQL query, which is okay. This is just sort of like a placeholder thing until we source basically the info from wherever we're hosting the podcast site. I think when we do that, hopefully there shouldn't be an issue with getting this working. I hope, but we'll run into that bridge later. So let me import. Oh man, let's see. Because I want one of them to be rage. I want one of them to be whatever. We'll just do one for now. Let me take out one of these. I think I just put rage. So let's go into music. JSON, we'll just take out resurrection. Actually, I like that song better. I'm gonna leave that one. I'm gonna deploy this now, so if y'all want to like listen to it, you can. This will probably make it easier to deploy. Get rid of one of these. Move to trash. Great. So whenever you change one of your like data sources, you have to restart your entire thing here. You have to develop again. While that's going, I kind of like half used the query and half used importing the music, which is alright, I guess, for something that's just a placeholder. Okay. This. What happened? What did I do wrong? Oh, because I deleted. So I need to change this. That's how I spelled it right. Yeah. We'll just say import song. I'm lazy. Okay, cool. Make sure that's still like the thing works. This is wonderful. Okay, let's ship this. So we now have a page with a music player that seemingly works. For some reason, I think I know why my sound isn't working, and I'll fix that later. But y'all can like test it in a second. Cool. So we use what's called Gatsby Develop. Uh, what you can do before you actually deploy your Gatsby site, run Gatsby build. It's going to run a production build of your website. Um, so if there are like any issues that would pop up on like I don't know, like when you deploy it, this should kind of catch it in most times. For example, like Gatsby when it's building, it builds everything like server side. So if you're using something like window in your code, window doesn't exist on the server side. So you'd have to like put in some type of logic where it says if window exists, then do this. If not, then don't do anything. Um, the very first time I used Gatsby, I ran into that issue and I had no idea what I was doing. I still have no idea what I'm doing, but I have a little bit more idea of what I'm doing, somewhat. Okay, so it looks like it's fine. Um, once you build it, you can do Gatsby serve, and it should serve that production build of your site. And I think it'll go to localhost 9000. Yeah. So let's just go over to localhost 9000. It should just be the same thing. It is the very same thing. Wonderful. Cool. So I'm going to put this up on GitHub. The wonderful thing about deploying a Gatsby site is that it is super easy to deploy. We'll just name this Tech for Humans. I'm going to update this later anyway. Don't worry, Hospital, this is not the final version. Hospital, who's in the chat, who helped out with the Stack Overflow response, is my co-host on the podcast. Cool. So I can never remember how to do this, but thankfully GitHub knows that I can never remember how to do this, so it just gives me the information I need. So we'll just do okay. Git init, initializing a Git repository, and we're gonna copy this. Oh, just add everything in there. Git add dot. Should just put everything in there. Git commit m. Super. An MVP from the stream. Not really an MVP, but whatever. And now we need to add this as the origin. I'm going to commit a sin and push directly to master. Okay. Never actually do that. Wonderful. My code is here. I should change this README at some point. Okay. So I'm going to go to netlify.com. So I'm going to use Netlify to deploy this. Netlify is super easy. Yeah, everyone does say never push to master and proceeds to push to master like I did. So Netlify is like super easy for deploying like static sites and whatnot. They also have like some serverless stuff, so you can use some Lambda serverless stuff, things like that. I'm gonna log in. I have quite a few things hosted here. I have my a lot of stuff, as you can see. So new site from Git. We're going to go from GitHub. It's going to authorize. It's already authorized. Wonderful. We can search for the repo. What did I name this? I named this Tech for Humans. Okay. Cool. And Netlify already can detect that this is a Gatsby site, so it already has that Gatsby build command ready. And you click deploy site, and that's it. That's how easy it is to deploy a Gatsby site on Netlify. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. Let's hope everything works. Shouldn't have said that. Something's gonna happen now. Crap. All right. So let's watch it build. While we watch it build, this is probably going to be it after this works. So if you're here, thank you very much for attending this this stream. Next week, I will actually style this into what it's supposed to look like. So again, I just have to mentally prepare myself to do CSS live. Okay, it's doing its thing. It's got a gigantic MP3 file in there, so there's a chance it might not work. But it's only one file, so maybe it'll work. So far, so far we're looking good. We're good. I will put the link into the chat as soon as this is deployed. Okay. Gatsby has like this timeout thing, so I'm hope. Oh, I think it's working. I think we're good. I think yeah. Preview deploy. This is a very weird name that they gave this. Agitated point care. Okay, so I'm putting this into the chat. Y'all can click that and just like confirm for me that the song plays and tell me how much it sucks. It's a really old song. Hey, it works. It's so loud. Yeah, I can't hear it though. I broke Hossible's ears. Cool. Okay, Sam. I will get some of those audio. Thank you, Sam. Confirmed that it works. So yeah, we have created a Gatsby site, deployed it in one stream. How long did that take? Like a little over an hour. And half the time I was just like bumbling around and like not really doing much. But thank you all for attending. Like I said, next week we'll do some CSS stuff and actually make this look the way that it's supposed to look. Um, okay, so Sam just didn't have his volume up, is what it is, right? Oh, y'all learned some good stuff. I'm very happy that you all learned. Thank you for attending, and this was episode 9 for Hot Codes. See y'all.